Good evening, I'm your host, Jack Remington, to the Jack Remington Political Analyst channel. I got my trusty timer here, set the timer for 11 minutes, so when that timer goes off, it's time to start cutting the video. The one thing the viewers want, shorter videos. They're like me, they don't have a lot of time. I'm not a big enough channel to command time yet. Quote, give the people what they want, end of quote. Lionel Jefferson from the Jeffersons in the 1970s. I used to love watching All in the Family with Archie Bunker, who, by the way, was a staunch, hardcore Democrat, almost as hardcore as co-star Bob Reiner. Carol O'Connor was just fantastic, and even when I was 17, 18 years old, just getting out of high school, and All in the Family was #1 show for a sitcom for several years, they called me Archie Bunker back then, by the way. I just wanted to throw that in there. Even as a young man, people knew what I was. I'm not very good at hiding things. I'm not a very good liar. This video is about Kamala Harris, the Democrat nominee, installed, not voted for, by the DNC, or the deep state, or the cabal, or the shadow government, whatever you want to call them. The people that are running this government, because we all know Joe Biden certainly isn't. I don't have much of a script, and I don't have much scripts anymore now because my time is very limited, but I got scribble notes here, and I'll stay with it the best I can. 29 women and 1 man from the Labour Party, the ruling party in the United Kingdom, Great Britain, and they're upset about Donald Trump. I don't know why they're upset about Donald Trump, but they're sending him over, and they've already been given their marching orders that they cannot have any financial shenanigans with campaigning for Kamala Harris. Why are they campaigning for Kamala Harris? To the best of my knowledge, and I've only communicated online, one through a text and one through an email, their thinking to me is they want to get rid of Elon Musk's Twitter, because the United Kingdom and Canada, the countries that you would never dream of, there's no freedom of speech. Now, let me get this in this video before I forget it. This is the only country that still has the #1 amendment for the Bill of Rights for every citizen in this country is freedom of speech. No other country has that. None, including the country we broke away from, Great Britain, in 1776. Was it 3,000 people got cited, and several of them are still in jail for saying something inflammatory? And then I remember hearing a case 8 years ago, before Trump came into power. Obama was still in power. Or provinces, they don't have states, they have provinces in Canada. She said something about the local councilwoman, some district, and they went to her house and put her in jail for inflammatory comments and slander. I like to think they can't do that here in America, but you know what? Maybe they can do it here in America. Maybe they have already done it here in America. I already played the video about Douglas Mackey, the guy who put the meme up about save time in line, Texas number to vote for Hillary. It was a joke, but Hillary Clinton didn't think it was a joke. So if you watch that video, it was Tucker Carlson. I expect you not to believe me, but you can believe Tucker Carlson, no matter what your issue on the side is. And even Elon Musk said that. Kamala Harris, you may not want to hear this, and you may not think so, but she has an excellent chance of winning this election. I'm going to pull Bill O'Reilly. I'm going to give my prediction on October 31st on Halloween night. And I'm going to give my prediction on who I think is going to win the election. But right now, I'm leaning towards Kamala Harris is going to win this election. And even my Marxist coworkers and my Marxist neighbors are shocked at me saying that. Why am I saying that she has an excellent chance? She has raised $1.625 billion with a B. That's more than the last 4 elections for the Democrats, including 2 terms for Obama. She has outraised everybody. Trump's doing okay with his $610 million piddling along. That's a record in itself on the Republican side. But is it enough for him to do what it needs to be done? Okay, he has name recognition. And you'd be so, I was shocked when I saw this. I had to look it up. I didn't believe the guy was born the same day as J.D. Vance. That's all I can remember. And Kamala Harris still doesn't have name recognition in many circles in this country. It doesn't matter to most Democrats because they vote blue no matter who. That's just how they roll. There's also information that some of the Jewish Americans are upset with how they're being treated and disregarded, how Kamala Harris stood up Netanyahu when he came to D.C., whenever that was earlier this year, supposed to meet with him, and she didn't. Something came up. I had other plans. Translation, she didn't want to offend the Muslim Americans in Minnesota and Michigan. Oh, yeah, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris agree on the 2-state solution, but it's not Israel and Palestine. The 2-state solution they agree on is Minnesota and Michigan, which comprises 72% of the Muslim American voters in this country. Those 2 states. Minnesota and Michigan. Remember that. Loudmouth House Rep, Rashida Tlaib. I mean, I just cannot stand that person. But she's Palestinian, and she lives in the Palestinian district in Michigan, and they've voted her in. We're stuck with her forever until that demographic of that district changes, or they gerrymander her out, whichever comes first. She stood up to Joe Biden and Kamala Harris earlier this year and said, hey, you know, you're pissing off the the Muslim American voters here, we're not going to come out to vote for you. That could be huge. That could be the difference in those two states. Donald Trump has a good chance of winning Michigan. It used to be a red state anyway. Gretchen Whitmer, the people in Michigan call her Gretchen Witless, because she's not too bright. She's the one. Is that the one that did the horrible commercial with the communion using Doritos or something? Poor taste and pissing off Catholics. Well, Gretchen Whitmer gave us a master class on how to do that, and she was almost like Hillary Clinton. And you all know how I feel about Obama and Hillary Clinton. But this video is about Kamala Harris. She has an excellent chance, and she's running out the clock, and I'm going to tell you why. Even Telemundo, the nice guy from Telemundo, was asking her, hey, look, no Democrats talking about amnesty for our people coming from Mexico, Guatemala, Honduras, Belize, Nicaragua, El Salvador, Panama, South America. I'm sure he does a good job. She tries to interrupt him because, well, I'm talking about it. And he goes, okay, talk about it. And she goes, well, we have to have a strong policy. We need to do things more humane. She didn't give him not one policy. And he asked her again. He's young and he's sharp. And he tried to prop her up like in MSNBC, CNN, you name it, ABC, CBS. They're all propping her up. And she just can't get it out. Why? She can't tell us what she really was, is, or any policy changes, any comings around. She got around it a couple days ago, I think 3 days ago, when she said, well, number one, I'm not going to be anything like Joe Biden, his administration. Okay, that's good in itself, but you're part of that administration, and you've also admitted that you were always involved in every decision, and with the Afghanistan decision, you were the last person in the room.
President Biden always said that he wants you to be the last person in the room, particularly for big decisions, just as he was for President Obama. He just made a really big decision, Afghanistan.
Yes.
Were you the last person in the room?
Yes.
And you feel comfortable?
I do.
Please don't ever vote for me. If I run for office someday, please don't vote for me. Because if I should somehow, hook or crook, win, I'm going to show Donald Trump what he should have done in 2016. And I'll let that go with that. So this Kamala Harris, she's actually done a good job. When she gets on her plane in between her rallies, what they call downtime, she's rehearsing. She's watching videos. She's got coaching. She's got everything she needs at her disposal. At $1.625 billion, you can get a lot of stuff. So Trump is Donald Trump. He's got everything as categorized in his mind. He doesn't need talk prompters. He doesn't need coaching. He doesn't need any of that. He just gets up there and he does what he does. And we know what we're getting with Donald Trump. But is that enough? The question of my neighbor down the street, Hispanic American lady who thinks she's in her late 40s and her kids are grown and gone. She talks politics with me all the time. I got 3 ladies on the right side of my house here. I walk my dog, we talk politics, and I got 3 men over on my left side. They're all going to vote for Kamala Harris. The men don't really have a clue. They just hate Donald Trump, and that's it. But the women are actually smarter with civics than these guys are, which doesn't surprise me in a way. Men are busy. They're busy working. We're all busy working. That's why civics is not on the first thing in the front of their minds. And both parties wanted to keep it that way. They like the civics quotient in most Americans being very low, because that way we won't be watching them and we won't catch them when they're pouring their crap on us. I can't think of any other reason that makes common sense to me. But the one lady, she struck a chord the other day. She said, this Kamala Harris, she said, she didn't stand for anything. I said, really? You just now figured this out? Yeah, but I had to vote for her anyway because Donald Trump is an orange man bad. Mainstream media said he was bad. Mainstream media said he's a horrible human being. And I said, do you believe that? She said, yeah, I believe it. I see it every day, and I've seen it every day for 10 years, so it must be true. That's what she said to me. And this is what I told her. You crank up a history book and look up Goebbels, the Minister of Propaganda for Nazi Germany. And this Joseph Goebbels, he had 3 big things. One was, the bigger the lie, the more people were likely to believe it. They had fantasy before everything got modernized. But in those days, 100 years ago, your fantasy was your entertainment. Most people couldn't afford to go to movies. Most people didn't know what movies were. They had radio and 78 records, but very few people had them too. Everything was word of mouth and storytelling at nighttime. That's how people live in all countries, including this one. The bigger the lie, the more people are more likely to believe it. The second thing Joseph Goebbels, the propaganda minister for Adolf Hitler, said was, the more times you repeat a lie, it'll start sounding true. And you know what? I guess it does sound true. If you keep hearing it long enough, people think, well, there must be some truth. Where there's smoke, there's fire. But like my father told me when I was a young boy, he goes, yeah, but before the fire, there's oil. You got to have the oil first before you get the fire. That helped me think in different things in different directions when I was a small boy. And I was a checkers champion in 1st and 2nd grade too, by the way. He was an excellent checkers player, excellent chess player. And the third thing that Joseph Goebbels, the propaganda minister Adolf Hitler, would say was, whatever you're doing, never admit it. accuse your opposition of what you're doing. And that way it throws everything on. Then they're on defense and you're on offense, and you can just sit back and watch the chaos. At the time, he was announced the world's greatest propaganda minister in the world's history, including the people they had from the United Kingdom when they would put Bonnie to Napoleon. His wife is cheating on him in the early 19th century of Europe because they were so scared of Napoleon Bonaparte like they're scared of Donald Trump today. And why am I bringing that up? Well, Kamala Harris used the Washington, D.C., the White House conference. Donald Trump is invoking Adolf Hitler, which is not true. This clown from the Atlantic conjured this up. Okay, they're trying everything they can. They can't come out and announce the actual vote numbers yet. They have to start announcing on election day, which is the rule. That's probably a good thing. I personally don't like this thing with it's election season where you got 2 months to vote. I grew up in an era where you go one day, you put your ballot in and stand in line, paper ballots, show ID. In my home state of Maryland, when I was a younger man, you had to show ID. Now you don't in Maryland. You just show up and they give you this pink provisional. And what that means is when they give you the provisional, and here in California too, when they give you a provisional ballot, that means that you fill everything out. And if it's decided that you want to win, then your vote counts. If you're a Republican or independent, it gets you're not qualified. You missed this box. You did that. It's called when they cure the ballots. And I used to be an election worker. I could say that. And I have credibility. And yeah, they're going to be mad at me at the Ventura County Elections Board, but I don't care. I'll never work for them again. It's not really their fault. It's the state's fault, state of California, how they structured their voting. Okay. I got to wrap this up. She has a chance. And I'm going to pull Bill O'Reilly. I'm going to give my prediction on October 31st. It's a Thursday. I'll make a standalone video. I'll give my prediction. Right now, I'm leaning Kamala Harris. Number one, she's getting more name recognition. People are talking about it. Number two, gotten away with calling herself as being black. And even the black women that are on the Jesse Waters show and Megyn Kelly interviews. And Nick Shirley's gone to 42 states so far on the ground asking people who you're going to vote for, Trump or Kamala Harris. And I'm shocked that some of the people are saying, they're going to vote for Donald Trump. I'm shocked. In Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, it's 78% black Americans that overwhelmingly went for Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, Joe Biden. Trump's got, if he can win those chocolate cities, what they call the chocolate cities with the black and brown vote, Trump, he could win. He could still win. But coming at the gate, she's got 10 states in her pocket on the November 5th when the actual voting tally starts, the countdown. She's got 10 states in her pockets, and they are California, Oregon, Washington, New Mexico, Colorado, west of the Mississippi. She's got Illinois, possibly Minnesota. Trump could flip that. When you go to the Northeast, she's got New York, Connecticut, Massachusetts, New Jersey. I just named 11 states. In Delaware, that's Joe Biden's state. That's 12 states out the door. And Virginia used to be the third reddest state in the country. But when they would hire their government workers, they're all going to vote Democrat to keep their jobs. If he can win, he's going to cut civil service down. I worked civil service for 18 years. I'm a much younger man. And it was changing when I got cut on my layoff. Reduction in force. I'm leaning that she's going to win. I'm an NFL handicapper. I've been doing that for most of my adult life as a hobby and made some money. I'm good at predicting things. I picked Joe Biden in the last election. I picked Donald Trump in the other election. I let my heart get to me. I lost $1,000 to bet on Mitt Romney to beat Obama in 2012. That taught me a lesson. I didn't know what I know now about elections. I didn't work in politics till after the Romney election. So America, number one, the greatest country ever devised by man. The Gettysburg Address, the last line of the Gettysburg Address from Abraham Lincoln in 1863, the government for the people, by the people, and of the people should never perish from the face of the earth. I mean, I'm paraphrasing. I'm sure I botched it, but you know what? That last sentence of the Gettysburg Address should be plastered on every building and every home in this country. Because I feel so strongly about that. Thank you. Stay tuned for the next video. Thank you.